Hello, everybody. Fiona May here.
And Sandra Lee.
We're the head coaches at Women on Transition. So we're doing another one of our series today. And this one is called You're One Call Away From Changing Your Negative Patterns. And this is something that we really want you to know that you can do. You can change the things that we automatically do in our lives that just become habitual. And we do the same thing over and over again very often because it's a conditioned response. But we can change that negative just to positive, just like that. So all starts up here because everything is first created in our mind.
So today is also Miss Fiona's birthday. So we're not going to have to sing happy birthday to her. I won't let you have to put up with my voice, but certainly the ability that things can be great celebrations for us that have been in the past. When we've gone through trauma and we're going through change in our life, they can become a trigger for misery, right? We can go, well, it's our birthday and we used to celebrate it like this, or we used to do, rather than think of it as something that's super amazing. And I think they're things that Christmas can be the same, or, you know, something that's been a really particular way of doing things that we used to go out to a beautiful restaurant and I think these are the things that when we go through and we don't have what we think is what could be the norm or should be the norm, they can cause trauma for us as well, rather than looking at it as, wow, it's my birthday today and I'm here on earth and I'm celebrating. And we caught up earlier, Fiona and I, and had lunch, and lots of beautiful friends and family there and company and celebrating. It's different to what it was in the past in your previous relationship, but it's still a new different, right? It's exciting.
Yeah. So we've got some slides here that we're going to share, and so we can, go through step by step, because we truly believe that you are one call away from changing your life. And if you're not happy where you're at now, you've got to ask yourself, why aren't I doing something about it? Because I absolutely can. And the reason is that we stay stuck is that often that we don't know how to move forward, or we don't know how to change what we're doing. But we want to give you some tips today to give you that option, because, we believe that we don't need to suffer. So many people suffer unnecessarily, and we can change our life if we choose to. So, Sandra and I have been doing this work. Women on Transition has been around for 10 years. And we do this work because we know that ladies get stuck after separation and divorce. And very often that negative little voice in our head starts taking over. We give it too much validation. We listen to it too much, and it ends up running the show. And we don't want you to allow that little voice to overtake you, because that little voice is run by our fear, and our fear holds us back. It stops us having the best life that we can have. So we want you to, be the best version that you can be the best person you can be. And that person is strong and smart, and, you have the ability to live an amazing life, but you've got to control your mind.
Absolutely. We meet so many people along our journey that, the stuck is probably the most common word that we hear, and they're stuck in a place that they don't know how to move forward, and they don't want to move back in most cases, and they don't know what even that would look like. So understanding the importance of breaking old habits, and it's really about, many patterns stem from past relationships, and they do hold you back because you're thinking that that's the way it should be, or that's the way it was planned to be, or that's the way I wanted it to be. And even though maybe in that relationship you weren't super happy, or there was some challenges, or it was abusive, or it was still what you knew, and it was still what, in a way, was comfortable, and it was more scary to go into doing something different. So patterns can be created by it being easier to stay where you are than it is harder to move away. So that's where we get stuck. It's the pain of staying is less than the pain of going. And when we're in a relationship, that sort of can hold us there for maybe too long. And even after the relationship's broken down and finished, the pain of moving forward, not even into another relationship, but just releasing and letting go, can be so painful that the pain of staying where it is less. So that's the stuck factor. And it comes down to breaking habits, and it allows us to reframe negative thoughts and embrace a positive outlook. So I always say you can't stop a negative thought. They come in, and all you can do is swap it. So instead of stopping it, you're swapping it with something that's positive. So when you swap things out by saying and repeating and having little daily affirmations and constantly having more positive come in than negative, and it being to the point that at some point the positive outweighs the negative, then that starts being finally the shift or the pendulum that starts to move, that finally gives you the ability to progress forward. And that number 3, that self-confidence, building a stronger sense of self and reclaiming your power. People go, I don't even feel powerful, especially after coming out of a breakup. You can feel that at your weakest and at your most vulnerable. And it's about reclaiming and rebuilding your self-confidence. And maybe you never had it. Maybe it's about starting to build your self-confidence. And whatever that looks like, this is where you can be from this point. All these building blocks can come in.
Excellent. So we need to identify your triggers and your patterns, because, often we are on autopilot. So we think that we're in control of our life, but we do the same thing day in, day out. We rely on what we know, and we don't often look for what we don't know. So we've got to do some self-reflection. This is a starting point. All change starts when we start to be self-reflective. So take the time to reflect on your daily routines and identify your specific triggers. So the second part is journaling. Now, the reason we put journaling in here is that what we have learnt over our time doing this work is that we've got to get ladies out of their head, and we've got to get their thoughts down on paper. Now, very often, everybody says to journal, and that's where it begins and that's where it ends. Now, this is very dangerous, in my opinion, because if we're just journaling, if we're just writing down everything we think and we feel, and we're writing it down, and the problem is that we've got to grow beyond that, so we can have new tools and skills to be able to process it. Because it's all very well journaling and writing down what we're feeling and reading it again, but all this does is cement what we know. What we know to be true is we've got to grow beyond what we know. And so we've got to journal, but then we've got to get new tools and skills so we can process our thoughts, so we can move beyond them. Because if we don't move beyond them, that's what keeps us stuck. So the third thing is we've got to identify the patterns that we're actually running. So recognizing the common situations, the thoughts, the emotions, these are the things that lead us to the negative habits that we have. So unless we're able to identify them, unless we're able to see what thoughts we're having, what are creating the feelings, what are creating the actions, what are giving us the results, unless we can see all of that, then we're not aware of it, so we can't change it. So we've got to become aware of it, but then we've got to have practical tools and skills to be able to move forward. So this journey that you're on it's a step-by-step journey if you want to grow beyond it and you want to move through these stages. And that's why we call divorce a transitional journey.
So developing your mind to be more than you are, you have to grow your mind and take more action. And what got us here, ladies, won't get us there, won't get us to that next level of thinking or next level of even our own self-belief and self-confidence and future pathway. So personal development is how we get there. It teaches you skills and tools you haven't been taught. We don't know what we don't know. And it's not our fault. We don't learn this stuff at school. I wish we did. I wish we could teach this stuff in school to future generations coming through, because we know what a difference it'll make for not just their lives, but for generations behind them as well. And when you know how to regulate your emotions, you are in control of your life instead of allowing everything outside of you do the opposite of what natural and pause before acting. Is that what it says, me?
Do the opposite, what's natural, and pause before acting. So always stop and think before you act.
We've got a squished up font here. So I think it's really important to know that, for you, it gives you the chance. One of the things that I found was the self-regulation of in my emotions as I matured into my own confidence and knowing how to be a leader amongst my employees and amongst my peers or amongst team members, and even managing up and down and sideways in a business, and then leading in relationships and understanding exactly how to communicate was the most important thing. Was a pause. Before I'd hear something and I'd respond in anger, or I was very quick thinking, and still am. I think I certainly, I'm quick now to pause. I'm quick now to just take it and just stop and just absorb it and just take control of that moment and choose when I'm going to respond. And it might be tomorrow, it might be never, it might be in a week, and it might just be in a few minutes. And I will take control confidently with a point of saying, all right, give me a few minutes to think about that, or give me a moment to process that, or I might need a few days to come back to you on that. So these are the things that gives us, one, it takes the heat out of a conversation that could be there possibly. It gives you the ability to respond with thought and consideration and purpose, and to know where your words are going to land and choose how they're going to land as well. So this is about developing your own abilities, and it's so powerful, and it's such an amazing thing to have, and it's something that'll help you in all areas of your life, including talking to your kids and future relationships as well. So the strategy, yeah.
Go on, you go.
Identify effective strategies to break each habit. So learn to manage stress by identifying the fear that holds you back. That false expectations appearing real, or, I've heard lots of different acronyms for this, F everything and run, and also face everything, and, know that it's your chance to be able to, step up as well. So this is your face everything and rise. So learn to replace unhealthy habits with positive one. It's hard to just stop something, whatever it is. So it's hard to just stop drinking or stop smoking or stop something. So swap it out with something that's a good habit. Swap it out with going for a walk in the evenings, or things that or timings that will trigger you. So if you've got an unhealthy habit of snacking while you're having dinner, get some healthy snacks and have them there ready to go. So you're swapping things out rather than stopping things. And if you feel that you're someone that, is a bit of addicted to, bad boys or relationships that pull you in too quick, and maybe you go in too fast, and learn to be able to swap it out with maybe planning things ahead of time, that you go for walks, or you do a hike, or you do laser game shooting, or you do something that's more of an activity. So swapping things all the time is my way of being able to give myself a bit of space and a bit of ability to be able to have that pause that's not me forcing it. And to be able to go through and set clear, achievable goals to guide your journey. Be clear what you want. What sort of guy do you want? What sort of life do you want? What sort of relationship with your kids do you want? What sort of health do you want? So unless we actually sit down and map that out and get really clear what that looks like, and it could be just some dot points in a journal. It doesn't have to be, a real smarty written out goal. It certainly can be something that just is just us saying, hey, I want to be back into a fit, healthy body that feels good by Christmas. Or it could be that I want to walk every morning. So just some little things. Start somewhere and take the first step, and create a daily ritual and do the things that serve you. If it's not serving you, it's a disservice to you. So think of a way, is this something that's moving me towards my goals, or is it moving me away from my goals? So that packet of this is probably the analogy I'd use, a packet of Tim Tams, ladies, while we're watching Netflix, that we're munching away on with a glass of wine. Is it moving us towards our goals, or is it moving us away from our goals? So it's either doing one or the other. It's not helping us to just be in the middle. It doesn't work like that. It's either either one or the other. So if you have a goal of being healthy, fit, and wanting to reclaim, losing a few kilos or getting up in the morning with lots of energy, that is something that's not serving you. If you're having it every night of the week, it could be a treat, sure, and that's still serving you, but it's not on a regular basis. And limit social media and TV so you create time to build, your self-belief in yourself. So I always looked at having a me night, and a me night wasn't me sitting down watching Netflix. It was a me night with nothing on, not as in nothing on as in clothes, but nothing on as in distractions coming in from the outside world. So it could be a bath, but it could be me sitting there watching or listening to a podcast, watching YouTube, reading a book, listening to something that I was choosing to listen to. I was swapping out TV and Netflix and things that were at times, like the news can be so negative, and it was putting into place something that was positive. So I was swapping it out. So these are the things that you're choosing to put into your mind and your subconscious and your consciousness, and people that you're listening to and people that you're absorbing their advice from. So, and meditation as well. So I have always had it as a Wednesday night, and this was my me night. So, yeah.
So having a support network is another thing that we think is really important, to surround yourself with positive, inspired people rather than people that pull you down. You want people around you that are going to build you up. So, we believe having a coach, just like any sports person or anybody who wants to succeed at anything that they're not good at, having a coach actually will get you there quicker, and it will actually give you results much faster than what you would have been able to do on your own, because a good coach should be living the life that you aspire to have. That's how I've always selected the people that I use as my mentors. Is I don't want someone who just talks about what they can do. I actually want to be able to look at that person and show me your bank balance. If you're going to be a financial advisor for me, show me your bank balance. So show me what you're doing, showing me what strategies you're using, showing me, what you've got, your wealth, that if I'm going to listen to you, I want documented proof that you're doing and you've got what I want. And so I think that's one of the most important things. It doesn't matter who you're going to take advice from in your life. Make sure they're doing and got what you're trying to aspire to get. Because a lot of people will talk the talk, but very few people walk the walk. And I think it is, for you to learn off someone who's already there, you save yourself years and years and years of stress and heartache. So first thing is to acknowledge that you've got blind spots, because every single one of us has blind spots that hold us back from getting what we want. And we've got to be able to navigate our way through those blind spots and see what we don't see, so we can actually get what we want to get. An experienced coach will anticipate your blocks and provide practical solutions. Sandra and I are very much into giving you practical solutions. We're not the coaches that are going to sit there like a general therapist and just let you tell your story over and over again. Your story is your story, but it's not going to get you out of where you are. So what we believe in is listening to your story, but then giving you tools and skills and giving you advice as to what's the best way for you to move forward, and hold your hand and take you through and navigate through the things that come up for you that hold you back, because you will have patterns that will sabotage you. And unless you deal with those patterns, they're not going to go away. How you do little things is how you do big things. So the things that are holding you back, you've got to get new tools and skills to be able to go through them. And once you learn the new tools and skills, then there's no holding you back, because every time those blocks come up, you're going to know how to navigate your way through them. Very often that is the opposite. So you do the opposite of what you've always done. but then you use what you've learnt to actually replace what you've been doing. And then you've got to learn to celebrate your success, because one of the things we see all the time is a lot of the ladies we work with, they're not used to celebrating themselves. They're not actually used to them succeeding. What they're used to is selling out on themselves or giving up after a few weeks of when they're trying something. They're not used to their life working out in their favor and them reaching their goals. And so these feel they feel not familiar to them. And so after a few weeks, people lose motivation. But when you are celebrating yourself, when you have a goal, but you chunk it down and then you're working bit by bit by bit, you see the success. And then you've got a very powerful network around you of women who actually support you and love you and want you to succeed. And having that wind beneath your wings is what allows you to fly. And we think that having healthy women around you is just so important. And we really want you to encourage you to actually get into a network like that, not a network that competes against you or holds you back or stops you from being your best self, but women around you who celebrate you being the best person that you can actually be.
So how do you implement these, habit breaking strategies? And it just doesn't happen overnight. We've created these bad habits or negative habits or just habits over our lifetime. It could be 30, 40, 50 years of instilling them. So you can't just change overnight and expect a new habit. It's like saying, right, I'm going to go to the gym, and you go to the gym and you sign up and you're there for a week, and then something comes up and you get distracted, and that's why we just don't stick to it. So it's really important that we start off with small steps, and it takes 21 days of consistently doing the same thing to create a new habit. So if you get to day 18 and you have a day that you don't go to the gym, then the 21 days starts from the next day. So you do need to know that it is consistent, and that Kaizen, that constant and never-ending improvement that we need to get back on the horse when we do fall off, because we just have to keep going. So plan and take small steps. Start with small, achievable changes. Just what are the things that I'm going to set up a me night? It's going to be, maybe it is a naked night that you sit in the bath and you look at listen to some podcasts and meditate. And these are the things that can be a bit of a fun night as well, that you can end up just turning everything off and putting on some candles and just having a bit of a recharge and just to reconnect with you. And it gives you a chance to journal and really think about what it is, put some beautiful music on, and what is it you really want? Where do you want to be? What do you want to achieve this year? What do you want to achieve? What do you want to do in 2025? What do you want to do, for Christmas? Where do you want to be, and who do you want around you, and what love do you want in your life with your family and your friends and your kids, and potentially a relationship? And really that reward system, so celebrating your progress and reinforcing positive behavior. This is you, like when you've gone to the gym and you've built up some, a bit of fat loss, or you've had a bit of a win with muscle build up, or you've had something that you've set yourself as a personal goal. Give yourself a bit of a reward. And it might not be, you don't go and eat a big cheesecake, but it could be that you go out and you celebrate with some friends, or you go out and you buy yourself some beautiful, a nice cushion or something that you want in the house, or so it's something that you're doing for you that's just for you. Beautiful bath scents. Mindfulness. Become more aware of your thoughts and feelings and acknowledge your fear. Just be self-aware all the time. How are we feeling? Are we mad, sad, glad? Are we being bad? Are we just angry at people, or are we waking up thinking, are we tired? Like, be self-aware. Don't just stomp through life, or don't just drag your feet through life, because you've got only one. And it's really important that as you're going through life, you're living every single moment, every single day, and don't waste a single minute. There's too many people we know that aren't here today that did or would love to be here today, and they couldn't be. So there's so many things that we've got to be thankful for and grateful for every day, and it's up to you to show up and to hop out of bed and set your intent of who you're going to be for the day rather than all the things you're going to do. Wake up as a human being instead of a human doing, and show up for your friends, show up for your family, and show up in your best self. And those healthy coping mechanisms, develop healthy ways to manage stress and emotions. And pausing is just something that comes from just learning how to deal with things and think them through and be patient. But certainly it's not the only thing. It's about you looking at ways, because stress, ladies, turns to distress if you don't manage it. And I know if you have stress, it turns to distress. It turns to disease if you don't look after yourself and you don't have a way to fix it earlier. So this is super important that you go through this.
Cool. So we've got to overcome our setbacks to stay motivated. So like I said, everyone can do anything for a couple of weeks, but it's after a couple of weeks where things start to fall, the wheels fall off the wagon. So we've got to keep ourselves motivated. And so the first thing is we've got to be self-compassionate. So we've got to love ourselves. We've got to learn to acknowledge and, be kind to ourselves. Setbacks are part of the progress. So, be kind to ourselves as we're on our transitional journey. The second thing is we've got to reframe our thoughts, beliefs, values, and rules. So we need to view challenges as learning opportunities. This is a time of your life where we can relearn what we've been taught up to date. And now that we're a woman in this part of our life, and we do believe it's the best part of our life, our kids are getting older and we're at that stage of our life that we actually get to define who we're going to be and how we're going to show up for the next part of our life. And if we're not happy and we're not loving our life, then we can absolutely do something about it. And, it begins and ends with us. It doesn't matter what's happened in the past. Your past and that's history. You can't change that. So you've got to give up. You can't be blaming other people. Don't blame your parents. Don't blame your ex. Don't blame the government. Don't blame anybody. Where you find yourself right here, right now, that's reality. Okay, so this is the place we always start from. So we start from where we're at, and then we create our beautiful new pathway forward. But before we do that, we have to deal with our past, and we've got to put that into a place in our life that has no emotional attachment to it. So to be able to do that, we've got to grow beyond our pain. We've got to process it. We put it to bed, and then we're free. And we step out as footloose, fancy-free women. And this is exciting because from here we get to actually create the life that we want to be living. The third thing is we've got to change the way that we've been being. For a lot of ladies, they just get in a habit of being negative or being sarcastic or being sad or being victims. None of that is really serving you. People around you get sick of listening to your story if it's a negative story. People around you get sick of listening if what you do and what you say is denigrating other people or gossiping or, not supportive. Just stop and have a listen to who you've been being and how you've been showing up. And it's not your fault because these things just become habits. But now is a great time for you to say, I don't want to be that person anymore. I want to be a better person. And, just making that decision and changing that thought pattern, that's where you give yourself permission to actually change the outcomes that you're going to get for the rest of your life. So encourage yourself to focus on your strengths, because what we know, ladies, is you are beautiful, you are smart, you've got a whole heap of skills inside of you that you've probably not even been recognizing. So, we want you to go inside and rediscover who you are. This is a journey back home to find that little girl that you once were, the one who used to play and be happy and joyful, and the one who did, before you listened to what other people said, before you went through experiences, before you went through situations and had people around you who held you back or stopped you being the beautiful person that you are, we know inside that you've got a person that you've been playing small. In a lot of cases, a lot of the ladies that we work with, you've been playing small. You've put your best self aside. You've put everybody before you. And what we want you to do is rediscover that beautiful woman that you are, because this is your time to play.
Absolutely, it is. This is our time, ladies, like never before. And this is why we celebrate these small wins and the milestones. It's like if you're walking along the beach, you head down off the car park track and you get down to the beach and you turn left and you walk along and you look back, you can't see how far you've come because it just is all white sand. So it's really important that you put a marker there so you can measure. And from here, what we do is we look back and we go, okay, we've walked a couple of Ks, or, we've actually achieved something. Well, what happens in life is we grow and we do have growth in the way we're thinking, and we swap things out, but they become the new norm, and we forget what it was like. We forget how negative we were, or we forget what we were thinking like in the past. So it's really important to go through life and stop and pause and acknowledge and our progress as we go, because one, motivates us to keep going, and two, it makes us realize just how hard we have been working and how much of a change we've had and how much we should be proud of ourselves as well. We in Australia, probably more so than other areas, I think it's something that tall poppy syndrome. It's something that we don't brag and we don't, pump ourselves up, and it's seen to be, negative. And it's important to know that that's not right. You should be proud, and you deserve to be proud of all the things you've achieved and done. And it's okay to say, hey, I'm proud of where I am today and what I've achieved and what I've done. And I've worked hard to get here. I heard someone say something like just yesterday, they said, oh, you guys are really lucky. And I went, we're not lucky. The harder we've worked and the smarter we've worked, the luckier we've got. And, as luck is certainly, it's all about being prepared for an opportunity that comes your way. That's for sure. So acknowledge your progress. Be proud of what you've done. Reward yourself. Treat yourself to something you enjoy. And, it might be that go out with your girlfriends and have a beautiful, meal, or it could be go out and buy yourself a cushion, or it could be that you go and reward yourself, whatever it is. It might be just going and watching a sunset. It could be something special, going for a hike or going for a trip to, going somewhere to a beautiful location that, you've been dreaming of, and it's, something that you had on your plan, or maybe in your journal or on your vision board. And that positive reinforcement, recognize and appreciate your efforts. And again, if you set the target and set a goal and a plan to get there, then you know what that looks like. If you hop in the car and you just drive, you're going to get somewhere. But if you hop in a car and you have a plan of where you're going to go and how you're going to get there and how many Ks it's going to take, and that you need a half a tank of fuel, and you might have someone with you as well. So you have good music on the, on your Spotify that you've already downloaded, and you've got a plan, and they're the things that help you get there. But they certainly, when you get there, you think, well, I've done all these things to make sure I got here the right way as well. And just keep moving, just keep walking. If you're looking at those steps going up that mountain, and it's too much and it's overwhelming, and you just don't even know where to start, and you've got no idea how you're going to get there, just know that you've just got to take one step today, maybe one step in this half day or this hour, but you just have to take one step and just pause until you're ready to take the next step. But the most important thing is to keep taking the steps. Keep moving forward, maintain your momentum, and stay focused on your goals.
Excellent. So, ladies, we've got to maintain our long-term habits to get transformation in our lives. So this means that we've got to not just do things once, we've got to have ongoing self-awareness. And I always use the system called Kanepi, and that is constant and never-ending personal improvement, because I know the more I develop my mind, the more I learnt and I grew, and the more emotionally intelligent I became, I actually changed everything in my life, my relationships, my career, my income, everything, improved as I improved. So remain mindful of your thoughts, your feelings, and your behaviors, because these are things that you absolutely control. Nobody can control you. No one makes you feel a certain way. You make yourself feel a certain way. And if you make yourself feel a certain way, you can change that and make yourself feel another way. You can change from sad to happy in a heartbeat. You just might not have been taught how to do it, but we can teach you how to do it. I mean, it's all there. It's based in science. So, just have to do things differently to how you've always done them. You need to have regular reflection. So you need to look at where you are. Continue to do your inner healing work. Continue to take notice of what you're doing and then put in place the practical solutions to get you new results. So you can reflect on the past, but you don't live in the past. You're living in the future. And that's why you need to have some fabulous new goals and things to move towards. So every day you're moving in the direction of the life that you're creating, because what we know to be true is happiness comes when you're making progress. So if you're not making any progress, then you're not going to be happy. The third thing I want you to be aware of is have mindful practices. So maintain mindfulness. And these are practices like meditation and yoga, and these are add-ons. These are adding on to your practice of growing your mind and learning new tools and skills, so you're smarter and wiser and braver. And then you also practice the meditation and the yoga and all the other things that you love to do. But so often people tell you just to go and join clubs and do yoga and go to the gym. Those things alone are never going to give you the happiness that you're searching for. They're just going to keep you busy. So they're part of a system. They're not the system. So the fourth thing is your support network. Connect with your support network for ongoing encouragement. And again, this isn't just people who pull you down. Sometimes you've got to get out of what the people that have been surrounding you, you will find that very often birds of a feather flock together. You'll probably be all similar and you'll be doing similar things. You will have similar standards. You will have similar amount of wealth. What I always love is to be involved in groups. And I always say I want to be the dumbest person in the room. When I join a mastermind or a new group where I'm learning, I want to be the dumbest person in the room, because what that then gives me the challenge to learn everything I need to know to become the smartest person in the room. And I've gone through this progression in my life so many times. I've joined like a marketing mastermind, and I went in that room and I didn't know a thing. And usually it's predominantly all men. And, I would see that as a challenge of what do I need to learn? Who do I need to learn from? I want to learn from the people that are doing what I want to do. And so I would buckle in and I would learn. And within a time period, sometimes it would be a couple of years, I would be in a mastermind, and then I would find I've grown and now I'm the smartest in the room. And then I would leave that mastermind because I don't need to be in just an environment where I'm not learning and growing, and I'd go to the next step, and then I'd go to the next step. And that's how I've always been on this journey of growth and improvement. And all of those things have led me to where I wanted to be. And life is a journey. Life should be exciting. It should be adventurous. You should be jumping out of bed every morning, actually looking forward to the day. And, if you do that, you're going to be happy, because, when you're getting out of bed, or sometimes a lot of people don't even want to get out of bed, and the sadness takes over, and the fear takes over. And if there's nothing to get out of bed for, there's nothing to get out of bed for. But you start changing your mind, you start putting some goals in place, you start having some coaching, and you start creating something to look forward to. And very quickly, your whole life's going to change. And you can do this, ladies. You absolutely can.
It's an exciting time of your life, and it's something to note that now you've earned it. You've got all the way here, and what got you here won't get you there. So this is your chance to have a clean slate and paint it. Get that paintbrush out and put all the color and the rainbows on there and just be crazy and have a bit of fun with it and do your own drawing, do your own vision, do your own plan. And there's no rules. And this is your time. This is now for you.
So, ladies, we believe you're one call away from changing your life. If you want our help, you know, have a free call with one of us, one of our Sandra, myself, or Cody, my son, who's worked with us for 15 years. We do the calls, and you can book in a free call and have a talk to a divorce recovery coach, and we will take you through and find out where you're at in your life and what you want to do and what you want to achieve, and then we will help you put a strategy in place that's going to get you there as quickly as possible. And you know, so if you want to book a call, we'll put a link below, and we look forward to talking to you very soon.
Absolutely, ladies. Ciao for now.
See you, ladies. You can do it. Have a wonderful day. See ya.